Hey there guys, this is a video that has to do with my senior thesis, which is about video games that have been targeted in crimes. Now, this first game I'm showing here is CounterStrike, which was affiliated with the Virginia Tech shootings a few years ago. The reason that CounterStrike was chosen, or I guess targeted in this case, was because a few hours after the shooting, when police had not found a perpetrator, Jack Thompson, a lawyer, decided to just randomly call out this game. It seems to be what he does. He is widely against any video game that he considers to be violent or out of control. Now, Counter-Strike is a shooting game made by Valve, came out many years ago as a modification for Half-Life. The game has been critically acclaimed to be one of the best shooters out there. It promotes teamwork, using communication skills, and being a leader in order to win rounds in the game. So, when you look at it like that, how could a game like this cause someone to go out on a murder? It just doesn't seem right at all. Sure, the two teams are terrorists and counter-terrorists. When you look at it at that, anyone would just jump to conclusions and say, oh, this is a very violent game. But it's not. The average person would not be affected by Counter-Strike in a bad way. Because, video games are often said to be stress relievers. They don't cause stress. They don't get you angry at them and make you want to go out and shoot someone. They actually do the opposite. So, Counter-Strike was definitely the wrong game to target in that respect. And that fact in mind, let's get ready to move on to the next game that we're going to talk about. So the next game I'm going to talk about here is Street Fighter Cross Tekken, a fighting game that came out less than 6 months ago. Now, this isn't the fighting game I would have liked to have shown, but it's the best I could have gotten at the moment. The game I would have liked to have shown was Mortal Kombat, which, when it first came out, attracted a lot of attention because of its brutal special moves and overall bizarre character design. It even got the attention of Hillary Clinton because she thought it was such a violent game. As characters in Mortal Kombat were able to rip the spines out of the other opponents, or freeze them and then smash them to bits, or other stuff like that. Now, Street Fighter Cross Tekken and fighting games in general haven't been affiliated with any crimes like Virginia Tech or Columbine. However, they have been associated with just normal accidents happening. Because, when little kids see something they like in a video game, or a movie, or a TV show or anything, they try to replicate it. And fighting games have a lot of special moves in them that kids like to replicate. So the most they could do is probably hurt each other. In some extreme cases, I suppose if the kid was aggressive enough, they could hurt someone. But it's not anything to the extreme of what Counter-Strike and the other games have been targeted for. The next game I'm talking about is Grand Theft Auto. Well, I suppose this would be more of the Grand Theft Auto series in general. Because there was a case where a kid killed 3 police officers and stole their squad car. Of course, Grand Theft Auto being the way it's set up in that you can do anything you want in the world, it would make sense for this game to be targeted, but hear me out on this. Grand Theft Auto is nothing like that. A lot of people make it out to be that Grand Theft Auto is where you can do anything and have anything you want and get away with anything. But that's not true. There are consequences to the things you do in Grand Theft Auto. You kill too many people, you get the police after you. You cause mayhem in the city, people come after you. That's it. That's just how the game works. Not only that, but no one really plays Grand Theft Auto just for the sheer chaos or to do whatever they want. They often play Grand Theft Auto because the stories have been deep and very, very awesome, thanks to Rockstar's writing. Of course, people like Jack Thompson will still find ways to target Grand Theft Auto despite the good qualities it has. Now, like I said before, it's not as violent as it seems. Grand Theft Auto has a lot to offer when it comes to good gameplay. I don't think the average person would be, indulged to go on a killing spree after playing this game, but, some people will say otherwise, and that's all they can think about. The last game I'm going to talk about is a personal favorite of mine, and an instant classic. Doom, which was released sometime in the 80s, maybe late 70s if I'm wrong, is probably the king of shooting games. It set the standard. And as with other shooting games, it was also targeted for a crime. It was associated with the Columbine High School massacre, on the basic fact that the two kids that went on the massacre just happened to make levels for Doom. Now, that's just kind of far-fetched and ridiculous, because even if you play a game and you decide to do something stupid like a massacre because you're mentally ill or something, it doesn't mean that the video game has anything to do with it. Notice how I said that they may have been mentally ill. There's no way that Doom would influence an average person to do that. There's no way it would influence someone with common sense to go out on a killing spree. As I've said before, video games are stress relievers. They don't pile on stress to make you angrier. A game like Doom certainly isn't gonna do that. And even if it did, the game's so unrealistic that why would anyone take it for a murder simulator? The guns aren't accurate. There's no recoil on them. It doesn't teach you how to use a gun and go out and kill someone, which is what a lot of people have said a lot of games do nowadays, despite even how untrue that may be. So a game like Doom, being as old as it is, I don't think could have had anything to do with Columbine at all. It might have just been a favorite game that those kids like to play, but when people start making accusations like, oh, it's the sole reason they went on that killing spree, that just really annoys me, and I'm sure it gets a lot of other gamers upset, because we know that if it was us, we would never do that. Now, of course, I guess I'm not everyone. I can't speak for every gamer out there, but the ones that have those tendencies to go on those killing sprees usually have more risk factors in their life. To wrap things up, I'm not trying to say that video games can't lead a person to have these violent tendencies, but it's very rare that an average person is going to have the urge to go do something like that. There are several risk factors involved that would be required to have a person have that mindset to go out and massacre someone. So I'm not ruling out the possibility that video games are violent. Some of them are. I'm just trying to say that for most of these cases that people associate video games with, they should really learn more about the game before they go making those assumptions, because most of the time they're wrong. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video informative. I guess I'll see you all around.